Let me make sure we're live. Okay, we are live. So, good evening, everybody. As I wait for a few people to come in, hopefully, everyone's having a good new year. And today, of course, we're going to talk about rejection in the male ego. If you guys read the description at all, I don't think it's uncommon for men to verbally lash out at a woman who has rejected them. And at times, these types of men will even resort to violence. So I'm wondering, why does this happen? I think we can agree that it does happen, and it does happen in mass, it seems like. But why? Why? What is it about the male ego that causes such men to behave this way? And I thought we could learn together here. Hello, the other MJ. But before we get into that, I actually wanted to talk about some of the polls. Yeah, let me share my screen before we get into that. Because I conduct polls here on my channel to see what's going on with my audience. And let's see what is actually going on with my audience before we get into the topic. Just some little brain teasers. There's one specifically I wanted to talk about that has to do with bodily autonomy, where the answers were really different than I thought they would have been. But let's go through a few, just a few light ones. Do you consider smoking weed to be unattractive? Most of you guys said you don't mind unless it's an addiction. I agree. Should men wearing makeup be normalized? So, interestingly enough, most of the men said no, it shouldn't be normalized. Most of the women said yes, it should be normalized. When I went through the comments, let's read a few. Something as benign as makeup should be a personal choice regardless of gender. I'm female and I never do more than gloss or a red lip. It's a choice. Um, and then someone replied to that. While I agree, I don't think men should go out wearing lipstick or powder in the face or eyelashes. I understand skincare and maybe skin lightening or removing bad areas, sure, but that's about it for men. I know everyone would be uncomfortable seeing masculine men wearing makeup like a teen girl would, so let's not try to change everything. Oh, okay, we have a few people in now. We're just going through a few polls, guys, while we wait to talk about men who get rejected by women getting violent. But welcome everyone. Hello, aunts. Onyx, you. Hello, you. Marcus, welcome. And Miss Deeds, hello. But I thought this was really interesting because when I think about makeup in women, I don't personally like makeup, but it's also not really my decision about what someone puts on their body. So I mean, I would hope people can care less about what I think about what's on their face. But it is interesting what the answers were when it came to men. Y'all were in here talking about I'm never gonna talk to no man who wears makeup. Um, let's see. If they want to, I don't think it's the best idea, but it's what's make you happy. Go for it. Yes, they should. I don't wear makeup personally, but if a man wants to do it, he shouldn't feel ashamed. I'm looking for a certain comment. Men can wear whatever they want, but I wouldn't be attracted to a man wearing makeup. Some women wouldn't mind though. I like that comment because some people don't mind. Some people do. Some people do. Hello, London. Welcome. Miss D says in the '80s, men just wore makeup. If it was Dr. Dre or Gene Simmons or Prince or Full Force, men wore makeup. Yeah, I think it was a lot more common back in the day. And then of course we have like the stereotypical um, white people with powdered wigs and all of that back in the way back in the day. But I did find it interesting the answers that were like, let me see. I guess they're gone. I could have sworn there were some answers that were like, I would never date a man wearing makeup. And here I am myself talking about, wait, what? They don't wear it for you, they wear it for themselves. And then this comment that I really liked: not that wearing makeup should be stigmatized or looked down upon, but I am against promoting it. I perceive makeup as an unhealthy aspect of female norms. To normalize it is the same as normalizing cigarette smoking for women. This one is already normal though. Makeup can clog pores, irritate skin, and release harmful contaminants to the bloodstream, causing chronic illnesses upon extended use. If I could unnormalize women wearing makeup, I would. Not that women wearing makeup don't deserve the same respect as those who do. Personal choices should still be respected. And that's the answer I think I'm going to go with and I like the most. I do think makeup is generally unhealthy in the way that we use it in society. At least on women. I don't think men use makeup widespread. And I do like the idea of somebody just being able to wear whatever without, even if it's unhealthy, without like somebody slandering them. Would you choose a baby over your wife if she's having birth complications? Hopefully we're all synonymous in saying no, we don't know that baby. Who is that? Where's Kenny's comment? Kenny said that baby is a stranger, save your wife. I absolutely agree. I have no idea why anyone is choosing the baby, but maybe I'm just a bad parent. So, there's that. Where is the thing? I'm looking for the one poll. Okay, here's the poll that I wanted to talk about. It's found out that there's a person who is immune to a deadly disease. Scientists would need just a vial of their blood to be able to make a cure for the said disease, but the person, no matter the offer, refuses to give some of their blood. How moral would it be to forcibly take some of their blood? The three answer choices were: it would be moral and it should be done. The second was: it would be immoral, but it should still be done. And the third answer was: it would be immoral and it shouldn't be done. Now, this was interesting because most of you guys agreed that it is bad. It is immoral, but you would still take the blood anyway. And I see a fundamental issue there, unless you are. So this is a utilitarian argument. And what I would like is if anyone agrees that you should, I'll pin that. It's not too many people, so that's fine. I'll pin the link to come up if you would like to be on the side of the people who don't. Well, firstly, the people who think it's moral to take someone's blood to cure a disease, a widespread disease, as long as I guess, if you think it's moral, that's who I'm looking for to come up. But also, if you think it's immoral and that it should still be done, which most of you said it was, I would like to talk to you. I just have some questions. It's not an attack. I just have some questions. And then the third category, of course, was it's immoral and it shouldn't be done, which 24% of you voted for. Again, the premise is there's a person who is immune to a deadly disease. Scientists would just need a vial of their blood to be able to make a cure for the disease. But the person, no matter what the offer is, refuses to give some of their blood. How moral would it be to forcibly take some of their blood? Of course, I think it's immoral to, for me, that's a violation of a person's bodily autonomy. So I take issue with that, even if you are saving someone else's life, and even if that someone else is a large population of people, I don't think that should be done at the expense of someone's personal choice about what to do with their body. And I think it's an excellent ethical dilemma because I guess where is the line? If you had to give up a kidney, should they still be forced to do it? if it only saved 10 people or one person, should they still be forced to give the blood? Um, if the blood belonged to a fetus, would that be ethical to take? More ethical than a human, like a full grown human? Or would it be the less ethical, the same? What if the mother denies you access to the fetus? Does it matter? Um, so I think that's interesting. And I think most people would argue that when it comes to a vial of blood, it's inexcusable not to take it. But for something more invasive like a kidney, it's more complicated. But I think I'm going to stick with it's complicated all the way down to the drop of blood. So none of y'all read The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. I think that sounds familiar, but I can't quite recall. But I'm pretty sure did they not use her body for research post mortem, even against her wishes, or no? Oh, she had the So Henrietta Lacks. Thank you for bringing that up, because I just looked it up. Yeah, she had some. What are they called? HeLa cells. HeLa cells. She had a unique variant of human cell that's able to reproduce indefinitely. And against her will and against her wishes, she had these cells used for research. I think both while she was alive, but also after she died, which she died from cervical cancer. And I think there was maybe speculation that the doctors let her die for the sake of using her body for research. Which is, I think, an excellent point if you're Black, because at least when I grew up, this was like a horror story for Black people who lived here, because the idea of someone violating your body in death as like a specimen, even under the guise of this is going to help a lot of people, is concerning. And then the idea of what it means to help a lot of people and what it means to do something for the greater good being in the hands of your being in the view of your oppressor, I think is really not cool. And then we have someone like Sarah Bartman, who I think was also experimented on after her death under the guise of research for the common good and such like that. They could start kidnapping people for organs and justify it. Well, I think the distinction is, I think they purposefully make it a vial of blood as opposed to an organ or something like that that's invasive, because it's supposed to be a test of how far your morals go, as far as, well, it's how far my morals go as far as bodily autonomy, which I think mine goes all the way down to the drop of blood. Apparently they don't. I believe they do take people for organs. Look, I don't know what the black market is, but I heard it's out there somewhere and people are buying organs off of it. So I stay on the white market, the yellow market, any market but the black market. The family got nothing in return. No, I don't think they did. The Hella Cell, she is the Hella Cell. Yes. I just remember in DC, they were like, don't be an organ donor on your license. If you're black, they would tell us the hospital won't even try. Um, well, look, y'all, when it comes to the conspiracy I have about black people being like marked as organ donors, even when they're not, and purposefully killed by the power that be. Look, when it comes to conspiracy theory, I have enough in my brain. I'm gonna ask that y'all not make me any more paranoid than I already am. But since nobody wanted to come up to talk about the vial of blood, I can talk about what I wanted to, which is rejection in the male ego. So I'm going to play my intro now and we can get into the actual video. So first of all, let me tell you guys something about hair, because something happened to me that I didn't like, and I feel like I need to share. I need to share with you guys. So I did something that I don't think I'm going to do ever again. Um, I went to a new stylist this last weekend, and I got some braids. Let me see. Trying to pull up some pictures that I think are appropriate to look at as I talk about this. Where are some here? I'll put this on the screen for a visual so you guys can see um, just some visual representation. These aren't the braids I got, but this is probably this will give you a good enough view. So I went to a new stylist, and the reason I went to a new stylist is because my old stylist is taxing. My old stylist is actually taxing y'all, and I'm like, what did I do to deserve? Anyway, my old stylist is taxing. My old stylist went from $50 to do braids to $70 to $80, $90. And look, y'all, she has her own, it's her black owned hairstyling business. She's official. She has her LLC. She got her little building to do all her stuff in. And her price increase came with that. And here I am supporting Black women. Um, and I would never tell somebody to lower their prices because I wouldn't lower mine. So, yes, um, period, and all that good stuff, all those terms that y'all use. I had to leave, guys. I can't afford it. I cannot afford it to get my hair did anymore. So I went on something that I shouldn't be on, which is Facebook Marketplace. And I was looking for a stylist. So here's my issue with Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's purposefully ghetto, but it is ghetto. And this is not just like buying services from Black people. It's buying services from any and everyone of any gender and any race on Facebook Marketplace. It's extremely ghetto. I have no idea why. It was just the whole process was unprofessional, to say the least. Let me pull up the message that really made me like the message that really made me feel a type of way. I sent three styles. I have three styles. Two of them are braids, and one of them is like some twist. And I was feeling twist this weekend. I sent all three of the styles so that I could. I just wanted to know, hey, do you do all of these styles? Do you do braids and twist and all of this? She said I can do the first one for $40. The first style, guys, is like a really, really simple braiding pattern. The second style is a very complicated braiding pattern, but it looks really nice and really good. And the third style is some twist. Um, she said she could do the first one, the easiest one that is like something I feel I can do myself, but just I'm too lazy to. And if I can do it, anybody can. I asked what her availability is like, and I asked, does she do twist as well? She said, I'm available this weekend, and unfortunately, I do not do twist. Now, at this point, I really had to stop myself from saying a bad word because I feel like twists are easier than braids. So if you can do braids, I feel like you should be able to do twist. Not maybe not the other way around. I don't know, but I feel like you should like some two-strand twist. I'm not asking you to give me the Travis Scott. I'm not asking you for the Young Thug or whatever. I'm just some two-strand twist, something just to look neat, look professional, in the workplace. She said no. So whatever. I texted and said we made plans for Saturday morning. Um, and I texted Friday evening and asked, is there a specific time? Because morning, look, guys, for me, morning is like 8 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. That's a big window of time. So is with 11:10, is there a certain time? She didn't text back until later Saturday at like 2:30, and she said it's 5 p.m. Okay. And this is where I made a mistake because I said yes. And I should have stopped messaging at the point where we made plans and she did not keep those plans or specify what time they were. But I said yes. And she asked for my number so she could send her address and all of that. So far, so good, right? Well, not so good, but so far, right? So far, this is where we are. She texted and said, "Hello, this is the hairstylist." She sent an address. And right after that is where things level up. Hello, Vitamin. So here's what this is about. I got a new hairstylist this weekend, and we're talking about everything that went wrong, and everything that could have went wrong, and how everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. The hairstylist sent me her address. Remember, this is after we already missed my first appointment because she was like ghosted. She sent the address. Shortly after, she sent a picture of something called Shine and Jam. It looks like it's a conditioning gel, some extra hold. And yeah, Vitamin, actually, where were you? Aren't you a hairstylist? See, and it's always the people who I need to be around when I'm getting my hair done who just disappear. But anyway, she sent a picture of some Shine and Jam conditioning gel. And she said, "Please also get this. You can get it at a beauty shop or even Walmart. Thanks." Now let's pause because I don't get my hair done a lot, but my last stylist never made me like go to the store to pick up products, and that seemed really weird to me, and it came off as how do I say disrespectful without being mean? It came off as disrespectful. Just pretend I said something else. I texted multiple group chats, multiple y'all. I didn't text my mom, my cousins. I've texted every woman who I can who knows something about hair. And I said, I sent a screenshot of this interaction and I said, "Is this disrespectful?" Um, and everybody said that she had just disrespected me, and this is the most disrespectful thing that a hairstylist can do. And how dare she? So now I'm feeling affirmed because I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is actually really weird. Um, she sent me that's so my understanding is unless I have a sensitive scalp or I need certain products for my scalp, then I shouldn't be going to get products myself. Usually the stylist should have that. Um, and my everyone told me not to text back, but look, y'all, I'm stupid. So I texted I texted back, "I will not be able to pick up product prior to the appointment." And she texted back immediately. Remember, this is like 30 minutes before our appointment, and she's like 15 or 20 minutes out. So really, she just gave me 10 minutes to go and find some product in Walmart and then come to her. Um, and she said, "Okay, I'll get it," immediately after. And that made me feel a type of way because if you could go and get the product, which every stylist I have had before has done, then why were you asking me to get the product? This made me feel, if she had have said, "Oh, if you can't get the product, then unfortunately I will have to cancel," something like, "Obviously you can see my prices are low. The reason my prices are low is because I require the customer to get the product," right? If she had have said something along those lines, she could have at least had some plausible deniability in my mind, and I could have given her leeway. But she was like, "Oh, okay, I'll get it," and that just made me feel like she was trying me. She was just trying me, like she was sitting around in a circle with all of her friends, and she was like, "Watch this. I'm gonna make this dumbass dude go and pick up some product. Look at this." Um, like that actually made me feel like everybody was sitting in a circle laughing at me, but they couldn't get the goof on me. So she was like, "All right, it's fine." Um, I wish she would have been consistent. So I pulled in eventually to the address she sent. And this is where the second issue came. Um, she probably would have kept the jar for the next customer. See, and this is why I feel like they were trying to goof me. Hello, JC, welcome. She sent you to run errands. Yes, go and pick up this jam. You got a rat tail comb? Make sure to bring, excuse me? No, I'm not feeling I'm not already the vibe is off. I sussed out the vibe and the vibe was sus. For real, what in the kitchen beautician? Only thing I ever picked up was the bag of hair for braids. Yeah, and obviously I don't wear hair. So y'all already know we have length over here, length and edges and all that. I don't know what none of that means, but we have it. So back to the story. I pull into the address, and this is where the next issue comes because the address is a beauty shop. It's like a hairstylist shop. I go inside, and everybody's sitting there with their chairs, and I'm like, hey, I have an appointment. Hey, I have an appointment at 5. I feel a type of way because I feel like even though neither one of us said anything aggressive in the text messages, it felt like there was a lot of disrespectful tension between us. So I'm walking in here like, do I need a strap? Do I need to protect myself? How is this going to go down? I walked in and everybody was like, an appointment. What appointment? Appointment with who? I don't know. Show us the text. I was showing them the text. Did any of y'all text this? Did nobody text this? I'm so we're all confused. Everybody is confused. I then texted her and said, I'm pulling in now. She said, all right. And as I'm in the shop talking to these people about who's doing my hair, she texts and says, I'm on the 4th floor in apartment number XXXX. So the building I just went in, the beauty shop is only 1 story. So they're like, yeah, we don't have a 4th floor. And I'm like, okay, bye. And I leave. Apparently she does not work at the beauty shop. She works at the apartment literally across the street. The apartment across the street are some college apartments. First of all, I'm trying to pull my car into the place. So you have to badge in to park. I don't know how to explain it, but to get into these college apartments, you have to badge in the park. So I'm sitting here looking stupid, waiting at the gate, trying to get up. I done already texted, I'm pulling in. And understand something. Black people, when we say we're pulling in, that means you have about 15 to 20 minutes before we pull in. And I had already used up like 17 minutes trying to figure out, where are you? I'm in the shop. I don't see you. At the wrong shop. So I'm driving around frantically trying to park. I end up parking across the street at the beauty shop that I just got laughed out of. And then I go over there, and to get into the elevator and into the store and into the building, you have to badge in with a student key card. I'm not a student here. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to call her. It's going to voicemail. How do I get up? I feel like this feels like something that you need to explain in, like, why did you text the address and then an hour later, like, as I'm looking around and trying to find out where you are, you're like, oh, I'm in these apartments on the 4th floor. And I'm like trying to, anyway, I feel like this is, you should have, hey, when you get here, park across the street, the parking's free. Make sure to come in this door, and you don't have to badge up. You can just take the elevator. Y'all, I'm taking 4 flights of stairs up to find this person. And I finally get there. And I asked her to twist my hair once I'm there. There was no hostility. I tried to be a non-hostile person. I was just, we were looking at the style on my phone, and I asked her, does she do twist? She said, no, I don't. And I said, could you try? Now let's pause. I don't know if this was disrespectful or not, and I'll take some accountability here. Because if I ever went to a barber and I was like, hey, can you cut a design pattern into the side of my head? And he said, that's not the type of barbering I do. I don't feel like I would be trying to convince him to do that. So maybe this was disrespectful on my part. But I said, can you try? There's a new day and it's a new year. Can we just try something new? It's easy. I promise I can do it myself. And she was convinced, which is bad. If you're letting me convince you, I'm not a stylist. I can't do hair. Why are you letting me? It's easy. All you got to do is twist it up. Don't believe me. If it was that easy, I wouldn't have been here, would I? Like, no. But she believed me. And she twisted my hair. And this poor soul, she did. I think she did the best she could. But if y'all could see what I looked like walking out of that apartment. Um, I sent a picture to my friend. Let me see if I have that picture. I'm gonna share this in confidence that you guys don't take this and drag me across the internet. But let me see if I can find this picture. Oh, never mind. It was a disappearing message. I'm smart because I'm not gonna let my friends have ammunition like that. Let me see what my friend said. Let's all read together. My friend said, "You look like an electrocuted ant." I guess I had antennas sticking all out. Yeah, what's that man name? Coolio or Gangsta Fabulous, somebody like that. You look like an electrocuted ant. Why the F do they look like antlers? I'm screaming. I'm so sorry. Were her eyes closed when she was doing these? And the only thing I said to my friend was exactly what the stylist said to me. And she said, "Don't worry, they'll puff out. They'll thicken up." The Coolio, yeah, I had the Coolio. Miss D said, "Stiff wear." Yes, I was giving hair, y'all. Don't believe my friend's messages. I was giving hair. People whose hair I've been doing for years will call or text me when they're at the hair store to ask if they need to get anything they may not be aware of. But being that it's your first time, no, you have to understand. I've never had a style. I don't get my hair done, so I've never. The only stylist I ever had already has gel and whatever she needs. But then again, her prices are increasing, maybe rightfully so. I will be going back to my first stylist. And let me remove this picture from the screen. No, let me keep it up. Y'all need to see. I could see Petty's face after realizing where she lived. If you're imagining I was upset, I really was. I wasn't upset after finding out she was across the street. Well, I was because why didn't you say anything? But also, I was upset when I got across the street and I'm like, okay, I found the apartment. All I have to do is go up to the fourth floor. And that's definitely not all I had to do. I had to find somewhere where I didn't have to badge in. The elevator don't work without a badge. So I had to walk up 4 flights of stairs, but the stairs all the way on this side of the building. And then the numbers are confusing. So, Petty said, "Believe in yourself." Yes, please believe in yourself. Well, no, don't believe in yourself. You are right to not trust yourself. I was wrong to believe in you. It's not recommended. You shouldn't try to get a stylist to do something they don't do. It's a lose lose. Okay, I mean, well, that's fine. Did you pay, and why didn't Discord get this picture? I think they did, but of course we can't discuss that here. Did you pay full price? I actually paid um full price. She asked, since she doesn't do at the end of doing my hair, she said, "Since I don't do twist and you requested that I do it, is it okay if I charge you a little more?" And I said, okay. I should not have. But I did say that before looking in the mirror, or maybe she purposefully asked me before I looked in the mirror. But I did pay her extra and I did leave a tip. So yeah. Antlers, yes, yes. I was saying she shouldn't have asked you. That's weird, not professional. Yes, yes, excellent. It does not take skills to do that style. I mean, well, the style I have on, let me see what I had. I think it actually looked like this. Yeah. Well, this is not the style, but this is how the braids looked. Um, exactly like what you can see on screen here. This is what they were supposed to be. This is what they looked like. One more time. Supposed to be what they look like. Where'd it go? There we go. Again, one more time, so we can all see. This is how what the Google image looked like. This is what I look like. So they're pretty similar. It's just one is objectively worse. That's all. So that's what happened. She said they'll thicken out, and they did. But when it comes to a professional hairstyle that I can wear at work, that was not it. That was not it. It simply was not. So now that we have that out of the way, we can get into the title of today's video, which is Rejection in the Modern Dating Scene. Why do men insult women who turn them down? Thank you all for sticking with me through that. It's just good to vent to you guys because that was not okay. But So recently, one of my woman friends told me a very familiar story. She is at the gas station pumping her gas, like we all do, unless you live in New Jersey where it's illegal to pump your own gas. That's true. You can look it up. Also, I think Oregon illegal. When suddenly she is approached by a man. Okay, so far so good. Well, not so good, but so far. He gives her several compliments on her looks before asking for her number, to which she replies, "Thank you, but I'm not interested." Um, okay, so far so good. He responded by cursing her out. He called her the B word. He called her all sorts of garden tools and derogatory sexual terms. Um, and he told her she's ugly and that he wasn't even interested in her anyway. And of course, this got me thinking because um, I've heard this story before a lot, actually, quite a few times from most, if not all, of the women I know. So I was wondering how common this is and why do men do that in the first place. And hopefully today we can answer that question. If anybody has a story that they would like to share with us today, you can feel free to hit the link and come up. But I wanted to give my thoughts. So when it comes to, wait, before we get into that, she charged more for twists. But this is what my old stylist did too. So my old stylist for braids, it was like $50. Then we started doing twists and it was like $90. Then we went back to braids and it was $70. And I was like, wait, but it used to be it used to be. I feel like the twists are easier, but I mean, I guess they're not. I'm not the stylist, so I don't get to decide. Spider legs. It's a lot of tension in the braid. Yeah, it was a lot of tension. Is that why you weren't on camera? No, I was on camera for the podcast, just not for yesterday, and I had it going on the podcast. Make this entertaining. I'm in the gym. Excuse. I don't have to make anything entertaining. My life is structured in such a way that apparently people find it funny. So here we are. Didn't know that there's a high theft rate. I don't know what that means. So why do men want to hurt women who reject them? Maybe not physically hurt, even though that happens sometimes, but insulting someone, I think, is an attempt to hurt them. And what I read was the answer to this question, I don't think is straightforward. It seems like a really complex issue that has a lot of factors involved. Um, but I read an article that discusses how men who want to hurt or even kill women often do so because they feel entitled. They think of themselves as a superior. They see the woman as an object, and they see violence as a way of feeling in control or getting revenge on the woman for rejecting them. And the article also talks about how these men have been conditioned by society, how they've learned through this conditioning that they're entitled to use violence against women who reject them. Um, of course, I was looking for data specifically about men who are approaching women in public, and then when their advances are rejected, they start insulting. I wasn't necessarily looking for people who get violent, but that's what I found. Um, and first, what I wanted to understand is how come guys approach women in the first place? Because obviously, I don't think men approach men in the way that men approach women. So this is a simple question, right? Why do men hit on women? But it's also necessary to answer. And while it's difficult to find direct data again on hitting on women, I can reference a 2019 research article I found on catcalling, which the article described as very similar to just the reasons why men hit on women. And it suggests what you probably already suspect. Um, Most men reported that their motivation for approaching a girl in public is to flirt with her and express sexual interest specifically. Now, I personally don't think this in of itself is such a bad thing. I mean, sure, I don't think most girls probably don't want you approaching them for romance at like the gas station. where my friend was approached, or at the gym, right? Places where you're kind of, I don't go to the gas station to find sexual partners. I don't go to the gym to find sexual partners. I go to those places for specific reasons. But I'm sure that there are some women who don't mind being approached by the odd fellow or two, especially if you're in a social setting like a club or a bar. The problem, I think, is when it becomes aggressive and persistent. So, in this same study, it suggested that men want a when it comes to what do you want from hitting on someone? Like, what do you get from catcalling someone? What do you get from expressing sexual? What are you looking for? Because I don't I don't feel like if I go up to a woman personally and I'm like, "Hey, you look very beautiful. I'd like to have sex with you." I don't feel like I'm going to get a positive response. So, but that's what most men in this study said they wanted, a positive response. So it's not just that they want to give a compliment, right? Or, for example, it's not that they're holding the door open for you because they want to. They're just a good person who thinks that holding the door open is polite, and so I want to do this for someone. No, they have an expectation for a positive response. Like, if I hold the door open for someone and they don't say thank you, a person holding the door open genuinely might find it distasteful. However, does not feel entitled to a positive response. Whereas an entitled woman might yell at the woman or demean her for not saying thank you. I've seen videos where, I'm hoping they're skits, but it will be like a guy hold the door open and a girl just walk through without saying anything. So he like grabs her by the arm and yanks her back, and he's like, "Say thank you next time," and start cursing her out. And then she walks through the door, says thank you, and he's like, "See, that's all I wanted." And this feels dangerous. I understand that that was just a skit. Do y'all hear this baby in the background? We're babysitting this weekend. And now I lost my train of thought. But that's, I know it's a simplistic answer, but that's pretty much what all the research indicated to me when it comes to why men get violent, not just violent, but why they get insulting when they get rejected. I also wanted to look into, it's kind of stages, right? Like, before the insults and before the violence, so my girlfriends have told me, oh, dudes will try convincing you after you say no, right? No, thank you. I'm not interested in. No, I don't have kids. Why are y'all in the? Why are y'all playing around in my comments? Why are y'all playing around in my comments? Hurt people is straightforward. See, but I don't feel like it's just a bunch of hurt men going out here and they get rejected and then they want to hurt somebody else. It feels like it's just a man thing generally, as opposed to, even in a case where you've been, I guess, rejected before in a like demeaning way, or maybe a girl turned you down and she was like, "You're ugly. Why would I ever date you?" And now you want to go hurt people when they reject you. But even that, I would call that projection. Um, so I mean, I don't disagree that hurt people, but it doesn't feel like every single person who's, y'all are out of pocket in these. Stepdaddy. I'm not the stepdaddy. I'm the daddy who stepped up, or whatever the shirt at Walmart says. But I don't think it's just hurt people. I think it's men generally. And maybe men generally are hurt, because I mean, we've seen, if y'all are familiar with the Manosphere at all, I think all of y'all are. We've seen that a lot of it seems like hurt men who society cast me out, and now I just want to get revenge on society. So maybe it is the majority of men are hurt. My research, at least, isn't complete. The answer to my question I asked initially is still open. for me to do more research on, but I don't think it's just hurt people. I think it's like a conditioning that men generally have to feel a type of entitlement to women. And then outside of conditioning around how a man treats a woman, or I guess how a boy treats a woman, and then he grows into a man to do the same thing, there's also a lack of, I guess, emotional regulation. There's a lack of emphasis on emotional control when it comes to boys growing up. Of course, we know the two male emotions are stoicism, right? Blank faced, it's like you're talking to a brick wall, or anger and aggression, which of course this would be. Um, so I'm going to look into that today, but that is the subject of today's live stream as I go through a couple of compliments. Y'all are never gonna find out if I have kids or not, but I don't. They'd probably be abusive in a relationship as well. So that's actually really interesting because in this study, let me see if I can find it here. In the catcalling study, the men who felt like there's no issue with a man who gets rejected and then getting violent or starting to insult people, the same men who were okay with the behavior of these men who catcall or who hit on women in public, apparently they were more likely to forgive someone who is a how do I say it in a YouTube PG way, someone who sexually harasses people, who sexually assaults people. They were more likely to forgive men like this. They were more likely to excuse behavior like this. The name of that study is called Motivations Behind Catcalling, Exploring Men's Engagement in Street Harassment Behavior. And it looks like that's by Carrie A. Walton. And that was in 2020 and revised as late as 2021. And I'm looking in it now. Men who reported having engaged in this behavior demonstrated higher levels of hostile sexism, self-ascribed masculinity, social dominance orientation, and tolerance of sexual harassment. So it's like not only are these men doing this in their own personal lives or comfortable with other men doing it, but they're like, they will let other men get away with it, and they don't feel like it's a issue, which I think is problematic. But maybe y'all disagree. But yeah, I do think they'd probably be abusive in a relationship because they don't see what they're doing as bad. If you guys remember, those of you who have been here for a really, really long time, I spoke with a gentleman. Let me see. I spoke with a gentleman, and this was a young man. I think he's like 20 or something. And he was deep into the manosphere. And my friend asked me to speak to him because I used to be deep in the manosphere. And if I can make it out, then surely I can provide some wisdom or something. And we were talking on the phone, and he said, I approached this woman on the street, and I was like, okay. Oh, and after I approached her, I said she looked very gorgeous. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh, and then she rolled her eyes or smacked her lips or something, and she kept walking. And I was like, okay. And he said, so would it be wrong for me to call her a B word in a garden tool? Would it be wrong for me to call her a SLUT and all this? And literally, we had maybe an hour or 2 hour long conversation about why do you feel entitled to this person? And in his mind, he said he wasn't entitled. He just expects a good response. If I'm giving you a compliment, you better give me a good compliment back. Not a good compliment, but you better give me a thank you back. She was being rude. Why does she keep walking? And I'm like, okay, it's not. Nobody asked you. Like if a girl was talking to me and she was like, can you hold the door open for me? I need to get inside the building. And I held the door open, and she said, she doesn't say thank you or something, maybe I would feel a type of way because you just asked me to hold the door open. But if I go to hold the door open for you of my own volition and nobody asked me to do it, how can I be mad at you when this is like me giving something to you unsolicited that you didn't ask for? Why would I be like craning my neck for a thank you and about to curse you out because you didn't be polite in response to my unsolicited compliment? I'm trying to pull that video up now because I wanted to look at that, and then I wanted to look at maybe you guys have heard, maybe you have not, but Darius Miles has, in my opinion, now become the face of exactly what I'm talking about. Where is it? Why can't I find my own video? Why can't I find my own video? Why can't I find it? Why can't I find it? Because YouTube is how not to handle rejection. Oh, I don't know what was going on here. Why do I have this get up on? Okay, well, apparently my YouTube used to be much different. I guess. I don't know why I was wearing that. We had not paid for StreamYard yet, so the logo was but I'm going to play a little bit of this while I look for Darius Miles, because Darius Miles, if you guys are unaware, is a former basketball player who, the story to summarize goes like this. There was a woman. There we go. Let me pull this up. So Darius Miles recently has been charged with capital murder. And what happened was there was a shooting that presumably he was the perpetrator of, allegedly, of course, allegedly. But it's pretty much confirmed, but it's still alleged. And to summarize, this man approached a woman trying to talk game. Let me get your number, shawty. And she said, no, thank you. And he fired off several rounds into her because, well, the because is what I'm wondering. But if it's anything like what we've talked about today, there's like a legitimate there's a legitimate entitlement to you to a woman's person, to the point where this man took a rejection as something to literally kill someone over. And when it comes to how gendered this is like something I think that is exclusive in men. We don't hear stories generally well, obviously we do hear stories because anecdotes exist, but in general we don't see women who are like rejected by a man. Even though women don't approach men generally, when they do approach men and get rejected, it's not like you don't now have to worry for your life as a man. You don't have to worry, am I going to be stalked home? Am I going to be kidnapped? Are they going to not take no as an answer and I have to fight my way out of something? Like, I don't feel like there's the same level of worry. But I did want to play a little bit of my old video just to see what young Prince Petty has to say about phenomenon like this. Okay, we are live. Okay, as I played that first 3 words that I said, I no longer want to listen to my old self-talk. I actually don't want to hear him talk. Let me see what the description says. A man complimented a woman in public. She rejected his advances and he was quick to degrade her. It seems often that when a woman doesn't react to a man's approach the way he desires, he is quick to get aggressive. Let's discuss. And this was in February of last year. So this was nearly a year ago. This is just like a persistent thing, at least that I've seen in my life. And obviously, statistically, it's persistent as well. But like, it is really persistent that a guy will literally just not be able to take no for an answer. Let's let him cook. Welcome to the stream, anyone who is watching. Today we will be discussing an interesting phone call I had. Nobody was watching. I don't know why I welcomed anybody to the stream.
And we will be diving into why that call went the way it did. I'm going to go ahead and put out a link to all my peoples so that you may join if you
look. There was nobody in the chat. There was nobody watching. Nobody was going to join the stream, so just ignore this part. But my grandma said you have to live the life you want, not the life you have, and that's just how we do things.
so choose to just
yeah, can you hear me?
Then kind of start a question he asked me. He told me that he was in kind of a situation last weekend where he was just walking down the street, I guess, and he saw this girl. She looked pretty good. So he said, you know, something like, "You look very gorgeous today, miss." And she kept walking and rolled her eyes at him. So I'm like, okay. He's like, "So would it be wrong then for me to call her a whore?" And I'm thinking you skipped some steps somewhere to end up at that end of the spectrum. But I was like, why are you there? Why are you all the way over here from her saying, "No, I don't, no, thank you," or whatever, just rolling her eyes and keep walking. And he thought that her eye roll was disrespectful. So he's like, what would be the problem then with me being disrespectful back and calling her a slut? So my problem with him was he was looking for something from her that he didn't get, I guess. He was trying to smash, or he was trying to get her number. And he was like, "No, that's not what I was trying to do. I legitimately just thought she looked nice. I just wanted to let her know. I wasn't asking for her number," he said. He wasn't being disrespectful, which I'm just going to take his word for it because I was not there. So I asked him to go through his approach again because maybe I missed something. And basically, he is just walking, right? And he says, "Excuse me, miss, you look very nice today." That's it. He said he didn't ogle her. He said he didn't do anything weird, try and block her in. He can't go nowhere. He just literally says he gives her this compliment and she rolls her eyes and keeps walking. So I told him, you have to understand that women get hit on every time they go out. She probably wasn't interested in what you have to say due to probably her being hit on by a lot of men that day. And probably.
So let me pause this and say, I had difficulty believing that he gave her a genuine compliment that was non-sexual. Like, "Hey, you just look really pretty today. I like your eyeliner. I like your I had difficulty believing that because, number one, I don't think most girls would respond negatively to that. Aside from the fact that we've talked today about the fear of someone being killed for rejecting your advances, I don't think women are just malicious in nature and hate any and everyone who compliments them in public, even if it's something that happens persistently, from what my friends have told me from like the age of 9, 10, 13. So I had difficulty believing that. Also, his immediate switch up into, "You, how dare you, you whore." Like, how can I believe that you just at the snap of a finger switched into something like that? And before that, you were all goody two. Like, I was finding it really hard to believe that. Seventh letter speak says, "I just smile, say thanks, or that I'm unavailable." Next question usually is, "You can't have friends?" I say, "Do you want your woman having male friends?" That usually does it. Yeah, it's not just, sometimes it's not just like, "Oh, no, thank you. I don't want, I have a boyfriend. I have a husband." Sometimes it's not just immediately into violence or insulting. Sometimes there's the persistence. "Oh, well, you look like the type of girl that could use 2 boyfriends. Oh, well, I don't see a ring on your finger. Your husband's not here, right? I have a meth test today." Just saying things we can cheat on. Sometimes it's like persistence as opposed to facing reality. 1,000 deep. Yes, we have reached 1,000 subscribers. Yay. Thank you to everybody. Your grandma is right. You have to speak what you want into existence. Yes, she is absolutely right. Always.
Probably the day before and the day before. He said that he was being respectful. He was being very respectful, which I agree with. I don't think he did anything disrespectful. And he did not.
Oh, I only agree with, if his premise is true that he just said, "You look very nice today, ma'am." I do think he was being respectful in his approach, but I'm also doubting that based on how this conversation went.
Approach her in a harassing way. He just complimented her, literally just a quick compliment. It wasn't about her boobs. It wasn't about her ass. It was just, "You look very nice today, ma'am." And that was it. So his thing was, maybe other men have approached her trying to be rude or trying to holler at her or being disrespectful, but that's not him. He's not those guys who was doing that. So why is she rolling her eyes at me? I didn't do anything to deserve that. And my response was, he feels that he's being punished for something that he's not done, right? He's being punished for other men's behavior towards her. And that's not my understanding of it. My understanding is, let's say you're a girl and you go out on a date, right? And let's say this guy's pretty cool, so you have sex with him on the first date, and all of a sudden he ghosts you and he don't hit you up no more, and he's just missing in action. And let's say you go on another date and you have sex with that guy on the first date, and then he ghosts you, and then the third date you have sex with him on the first date and he ghosts you. Probably at some point you're going to say, okay, if I want to know that a man is serious about me, so I'm not going to have sex on the first date. Let me get to know this person more, and over time, then we can get there. But I'm not going to. I'm doing this as a measure to protect myself, because I've seen that when I put out on the first date, I literally get ghosted, and that's not behavior I want. So
I think this was a bad analogy from a young Prince Petty, but my understanding of what I just said is, if a woman is like not responsive to your catcalling and hitting on her on the street, I don't think the man who I was talking to was taking it as like something personal. How dare she do this to me? How dare she? But like, you have to understand it as like, in the way I understand it, as like a protective measure. It's not me personally. I think that's making women like not responsive to advances on the street or something. It could definitely be some random dude who got violent with her yesterday, or the fact that this has been happening since she was 9. And hopefully you can look at it like that and have some understanding and some sympathy, as opposed to, well, I'm not those guys, not all men. Why can't you treat me differently? But in treating you differently, I think that will be opening herself up to, well, exactly what you're talking about. Like, you are the guy. Like, literally, if she had have treated you, I don't think she should have treated him differently. Like, the fact that you are, oh, she rejected me, well, you're a whore. F you then, garden tool. Like, the fact that you're ready to switch up like that, you're absolutely not different. So how are you having a discussion and an argument with me about how it's not fair she's treating me like I'm one of those scummy guys, and then as soon as you don't get the response you want, you're ready to turn into the insults, just like the scummy guys. So I don't know. I guess these are the good guys. We saw the good guys yesterday on TBMOTH stream. That was so. Here we are. That's what I've always said, by the way. There's no such thing as, whenever a guy's like, I understand these other guys are bad, but I'm one of the good guys. They're absolutely not one of the good guys. Every guy thinks he's a good guy. Everybody on that panel that we saw from TBMOTH's channel yesterday thought they were a good guy. Meanwhile, they're talking about these women are a sexual object and they exist to serve me, and they shouldn't be serving themselves. They should not exist in reality until I'm here. Only then can they exist to do something.
I just want to protect myself, which some guys come in and their perception is, well, you let Tyrone fuck on the first date. Why are you making me wait? If I'm a good man, how come you let all these bad guys have sex with you on the first date, but I gotta wait a month or whatever? That's not my understanding. My understanding is not that I'm being punished for something that other men did. My understanding is that you are protecting yourself by not engaging in a certain behavior because you want a certain outcome that you haven't been getting when you do that. So he was thinking she is being aggressive towards him for no reason on the streets, where he didn't do anything wrong, and why is she antagonizing me? My thoughts were that she's probably have her guard up due to how other men have approached her. And Prince, did you want to say anything before I continue into this monologue?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say rolling your eyes is antagonizing in any manner.
I disagree. I definitely do see that as a sign of disrespect. Like, I definitely do. I don't know that it's that extreme to warrant that response, but
that is like low level. Like, if you were to grade that, like, on a scale of 0 to 100, it would probably get like a 0.5% disrespectful rating.
Okay, but let's categorize this, because when I asked him why this particular instant, why are you so mad at this girl? He was like, it's not just this girl. It's literally every time I have ever approached a woman and I'm being respectful and I literally just want to give her a compliment. I'm not trying to get her number. I'm not trying to have sex or anything. She's always roll her eyes, or she boy bye, or she smack her lips at me, or she walk away. So I want to categorize all these things as like kind of low level disrespect, right?
Okay, I can see how like,
Hello, London. Did you have thoughts to give today?
Yeah.
Well, London left. I thought we were going to hear a real man talk about something important, but no, London left. But I don't know that I have to play any more of this. Literally, the entire stream is just talking about why do you feel entitled to a certain response, and the fact that he made this. So the way he described it was, it's not just that this girl rejected me and then I blew up. Every single time I have ever approached a girl, they always brush me off. They always laugh at me and reject me and blah blah blah. But again, in my holding the door open analogy, I feel like if you're holding the door open and you're getting mad at people who didn't ask you to hold the door open for not saying thank you, I feel like there's a fundamental issue in the way that you're thinking. You shouldn't be going up to women and complimenting them because you expect a certain response. You should be complimenting, well, I don't think women specifically. If you want to compliment people, compliment people. But you should be complimenting people because that's just something that you genuinely want to do and say to them. And he said, that is what I'm doing. And I said, it can't be what you're doing, because the moment you didn't get a response that you wanted, you were ready to blow up on somebody. So how genuine is this compliment if you're ready to take it? Like, remember the example my friend gave me. She's at the gas station and the guy is just, you're beautiful, you're amazing, wow, you're so sweet, I love your eyeliner, I love your clothes, can I get your number? No, you can't get my number. Oh, okay, you ugly fat. Like, as soon as you don't get the response you want, all of a sudden this genuine kind-hearted compliment that you just want to tell these women need someone to let them know that they're beautiful, and who else but to do it but me. As soon as you don't get the response you want, all of a sudden their beauty expires immediately, and it turns to violence. Even if you don't consider insulting somebody violent, I do consider it at the very least a verbally violent, even if it's not physical. So yeah, we had like an hour long back and forth in which I tried to get him to admit that he's entitled. Otherwise, this would not be a conversation. It would not be a conversation at all unless you wanted a certain response back from somebody. Like, and then I feel like your morals are corrupt too, because the fact that someone does something bad to you, I don't think now gives you an excuse to do something bad. Like, if somebody want to play in filth, let them play in filth. Why are you dragging yourself down to this level if you're such a good man and such a kind-hearted, genuine man who just wants to compliment people? Why are you ready to, as soon as someone else is, I don't think a person's morals are corrupt for not accepting a compliment. I don't. But to the extent that he believes that, why are you now lowering yourself down in the mud to be filthy with people who you consider filthy? I'm going to call your morals at the very least corrupt. I have literally heard guys saying, quote, well, you can't put two boats in one dock. Who going to know? Huh? Oh, I guess this is the men who, after you say I have a boyfriend or a husband, they continue to try to get you to cheat on your significant other, which that's unattractive in the first place. Why would anybody want to be with somebody who's over here? Like, if I'm about to cheat on my partner with you, why would you want to be partners with me? The next person can literally apparently just come and get me to cheat on you. Now I've said that too. The guy's response was, pregnant pee is super wet, so you should still give me your number. Yeah, literally, they will stop at nothing. They will stop at nothing. And production said, I just tell them I'm pregnant. That I don't like, to be honest, I don't even know what works now. I don't know what works to curb someone. Tell them you were born as a man, since that apparently is a deal breaker for a lot of people. Well, today's topic was, before we were talking about rejection, today's topic was actually going to be about heterosexual cisgendered men who are attracted to lesbian stud women who present masculine, but who aren't attracted to trans women who present feminine. And I was going to I invited some studs to talk about I hope that's not a derogatory term, stud. I think that's just slang to say a masculine presenting lesbian woman usually. Oh, they said the link didn't work. Let me try and send it to them again, even though the topic's different now. Okay, but it was going to be about that. So I don't even nowadays, even telling somebody you're trans or whatever doesn't seem to be a deal breaker. I know my friend says you just got a team of studs at the ready. Look, my best friend is a stud, and one of my military buddies is a stud, and now one of my new friends is a stud. I guess if you ask me how many studs I have as friends, if I had a nickel for every stud friend I had, I would have 2 or 3 nickels, which is 10 cents, 15 cents isn't a lot, but it still is weird that it happened twice. So I mean, I'll give you that. A team of studs, yeah, we're gonna make a sick basketball team. But I'm gonna play just a little bit more. I don't think I'm gonna play the whole 30 minutes. That's too much.
Said rejection can add up, but I still wouldn't say to lash out and take it out on the most recent. Like going straight from an eye roll to like, what do you say? You're a whore? Is that?
Yes. If you not accept my sexual advances, you are a whore. Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah. See that's just uncalled for.
And can I point that out too? The fact that someone said, no, I don't want to have sex with you. I don't want a romantic relationship with you. And the immediate response was to call them that doesn't even make sense, y'all. Or am I tripping? Did the definition of the word whore and slut, did that change recently? And I'm just behind on colloquial terms? Because definitely that would be the opposite. That would definitely be the opposite. Hey, London.
What's going on?
Not much. Do you have a comment to add today?
Yeah, some I had to explain to one of my homeboys about this whole I'm the good guy thing. Is more or less that if you meet a random woman, she doesn't know you, right? So she can't determine you're a good guy from the first time she meets you. And for some reason, he was very confused by this. And I'm like, I don't do guys understand that? Like, if you just met her at Target, she's not going to just automatically know you're a good guy. So you hollering at her, you just look like every other dude in the neighborhood. But some guys don't understand it, apparently.
Yeah, it's how dare you? How dare you not know that I'm a good person immediately upon meeting me? I will now resort to you, calling you
Audio name.
derogatory sexual terms. Which by the way, I think is why women don't. When it comes to somebody disrespecting you in public, a guy who comes up and he's with the catcalling and the harsh names and stuff like that off the bat, of course, I don't think women are receptive to that. But my friends, my woman friends have told me even the guys who come up and they're saying all the right things now can't be trusted because they about to switch up as soon as Miss D said it. Nice guys can't flip that fast. That's scary. Yeah, they going as soon as they don't get what they want, they're gonna switch up. So the fact that you're actually creating exactly, in my opinion, what you're complaining about. Hello, S. Jones, welcome. I don't think I've seen you here before. Hello, Alicia.
No, I agree with you. I think that they're turning these. They're basically one. They're turning to the same guys they claim they're not. Two, you're scaring the women away, just like you. They were scared away from you in the beginning because somebody else did the same thing you did previously. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, at the very least, wouldn't you want to set a different example though? Like, this woman is rejecting me because every man in her past has been violent or hurling insults at her when they face rejection. Wouldn't you want to do something different at the very least? If you're mad about, because I think women do this generally. If you're mad about the fact that women do this generally, why don't you procure an environment where a woman doesn't have to worry about being like insulted once she rejects you? Why don't you give a genuine compliment instead of doing whatever it is he was doing?
That or just take your L and keep moving. Say, okay, well, I'm sorry about that. Have a nice day and keep moving.
Wait, so if she rolls her eyes, you're gonna be like, well, I'm sorry, have a nice day.
I'm sorry to waste your time. Have a great day. Keep moving. That's what I do.
I'm not even gonna talk to him. Hey, you look really nice today. And she smack her lips. I'm gonna just keep walking. It's fine. I don't have to add anything. It's fine, but I don't think that's wrong what you're saying. Um, Let me see some other points I wanted to touch on as well. Thank you. So I was looking at the idea that rejection is defeat, in the way that the men kind of describe this as a game. Um,
What do you mean the game?
hmm?
What do you mean by a game? Like who can get the most girls or something? Or
No, like, do you listen to the way dating is talked about in like sort of online space, at least from the men? So, okay, when I go to the women's side of YouTube to see what type of dating advice they are giving when I go to like to online forums, a lot of the dating advice is like, make sure to carry pepper spray, make sure to date at a place where it's public so that he can't kidnap you. Make sure to have your own ride so that something weird doesn't happen and you're depending on him to do this. Make sure to block. Like, it feels like survival, like actual survival. And then when you
oh,
go to the when you go over to the man side,
they
it's
trying to basically teach how to run game. I get what you're saying.
yeah, it's how
Okay.
to run game, how to riz, how to what's it called? I guess pickup artistry is kind of exclusive to men. And when I look at pickup
Or
artistry, it legitimately just seems like it's legitimately seems like playing games and manipulating people. Oh, she
or
doesn't.
or, or
If I
leveraging money and resources over a woman to get what you want.
Yeah, if I came out straightforward and said my intentions, hey, I'm only interested in having sex with you, she would probably reject me. So let me learn some game, which just seems like manipulation to me, so that I can dip and dodge around what I want from her. And then once I get it, then we can I have won the game. Like it legitimately feels like a game on the men's side. So
But but that does circle back to what you said before. They're creating the same environment they're complaining about, because if your only intention is to leverage what you have or run game to get just sex and not actual meaningful relationship, then you're complaining that women have high body counts when you're contributing to it.
yeah, but then they would have to accept the rejection, which I mean we're learning today, at least if Darius Miles is any indication of the male community, they can't accept rejection. So rejection again in this game that the men are playing is defeat. And so I think the lashing out comes from a need to even the score. Like if I lost, I'm taking everybody down with me, as well as I think it's a challenge to the way we've defined masculinity in modern times. I think rejection challenges that, and they insult you, for example, to assert dominance. Um, but then that also makes me feel like the initial compliment is just like a front for sex or something else. And then once you hurt his ego by rejecting that, they're like, I don't
And,
know if
and
this.
I was like, he was a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is this: then, didn't the lady he tried to talk to already have a boyfriend that she explained that she was good because she had a boyfriend already? Why would you even get mad about that? That's weird to me, actually.
Those are details I don't know. I do know she was either pregnant or she's a single mom.
She has a kid already.
Okay. So at the very least she does have, I thought she had a family in the way the article was talking about. So yeah, I would think she does have a man and a child. Um a daughter and mother. I'm reading the article now and I can't see I can't see too much personal info in the article. All I know for certain is that he was rejected, and then he could not handle it and proceeded to kill her, as well as I think injuring another person who was in the vehicle with her. Oh, she okay. So it was her boyfriend who she was there with. I think that's what the other person who was injured.
So they say, "Oh, women for the streets, all that good jazz." If you stay loyal and you shoot her, wow, contradicting.
It's kind of annoying because it's like it's a persistent claim that, oh, modern women these days are easy and therefore the streets. What happened to the chastity of the traditional woman? But also there's this dichotomy where men are literally so frustrated at the point that men are being rejected more than ever, men are alone more than ever, men are depressed more than ever, men are so when you have like this young sex, it doesn't add up to me. Like the math is not mathing. Somehow all women these days are hoes and all women are sluts, but also all women are rejecting me and they need to stop rejecting me, or else X, Y, or Z will happen, and X, Y, or Z did happen. So it doesn't.
Yeah, but she kind of was supposed to reject him. Like that's how that should have worked with her having a boyfriend, right? Like it was kind of like I have a boyfriend, so sorry, bro.
It's not even. I mean, I still consider that rejection. To me, it doesn't matter if the rejection is because I don't like you, if it's because I have someone who I'm faithful to, if I'm just not the right time. I don't think it. To me, it doesn't matter. I mean, to him, it should matter at least, because even in the scenario I was talking about, where the guy, she just rolled her eyes after he complimented him, I feel like is a. Well, I don't even feel like that's a rejection. A lot of this, I don't even feel like it's a rejection. It's just somebody not being interested in you, which I guess is soft rejection. But like, it's the fact that, for me, it's just the fact that they can't handle it. I don't know if it's, well, I do know it's an entitlement. Like, why do you, let me see. In the study, they were looking at, why do you feel like you're owed a positive response? Let me see if I can pull that up. There was some indication that they're partially, it's protecting their self-esteem, as if they are, think about the insults that are hurled, right? You're worthless. You're not, what are you talking about? You're not pretty. I didn't want you anyway, right? It's as if you are reducing this woman to worthlessness, to filth. But in the study, it's like, if you were rejected by someone who is worthless in your eyes, then the rejection shouldn't matter. That's not generally how rejection invokes a response, generally, according to the research, when it's someone who you care about, when it's someone who is valuable in your eyes, not when it's someone worthless. So they indicated it might be partially people trying to protect their self-esteem. It's in effect, they're saying, oh yeah, well, I didn't want you anyway, as a form of self-esteem protection. Another motivation cited was emotional aggression, right? They've been hurt, so they lash out to hurt the person that hurt them. I think someone said it earlier in the comments, hurt people hurt people. And they will, no one will ever want you ever, like, again, an attempt to insult and degrade, a form of cognitive dissonance, when in reality, someone doesn't like you because there is something wrong with you, right? Maybe you're a creep, maybe you're awkward, maybe you're unattractive, or maybe they just, even if you are attractive or whatever, you're just not right for them, whatever. It's easier to live in a cognitive dissonance than to face the reality. It's better to say, oh, they don't like me because something's wrong with them. They're stuck up, they're mean, they're ugly, or whatever, right? It's easier than facing reality. So I think that's where I'm going to rest that. I think I've said everything I want to say on that topic. Hello, Mara. You are late because I'm about to end now. Oh, I'm gonna show a meme. I like to end on memes so that we don't have to go back to our lives being sad.
You gonna play that outro, ain't you?
Oh, you want me to play the outro?
Oh, I mean, yeah, if you can't play with it. The outro cracks me up every time.
Do you want me to play the outro?
Yeah, I like the outro.
Okay.
Sounds like a great time to me.
Let it be noted. So we're gonna have a short after show, guys. But let it be noted that London Link said he wanted to hear this outro really, really bad. He
Very bad
outro. So let's just play my outro. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna have a short after show.
You really want to catch fucking 350 pounds of dude on your ass?
Of course.
Sounds like a good time.
That's a good time to me. He hop on my meeting, he start riding me. I said, Daddy, don't stop it. Look how he drop it. Just like a pilot, I'm all in his cockpit. I lick the cock tip, I let the cock drip.
So what is it specifically about that outro that you like?
I think it's hilarious that you put that together. That's what I really think is funny about it.
Okay.
You play too damn.
Alicia, let's check out Alicia's channel real quick and see what she's coming out with. What's coming up?
I think at 1,000 subscribers, I think you can monetize and start doing the super chats.
I don't think I need super chats yet. I can read all of your comments. I can see them all. You don't have to highlight them. See, I'm waiting on Alicia. Alicia usually has something. Oh, here it is. A love letter to my inner child. So tomorrow, Alicia is premiering. How do I put this on the screen? So Alicia's premiering this tomorrow on her channel. If you guys want to check it out, I'm going to be over there. Her birthday's coming up, and she's looking back and giving her child self the, oh, that's her baby picture. That's so cute. It does look like her as a child, which I guess is what baby photos are. So she's going to be giving affirmations for herself and discovering what her inner child needs to hear. So it's a love letter to her inner child, and that interests me. So I'm going to leave my like, and I'm going to set it to notify me so that we can listen tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. Wait a minute.
Hey, you gotta get up early, man. You gotta see that. Link her channel in the chat. Link her channel in the chat.
Oh yeah. If someone could link her channel in the chat, I'm going to link this video in the chat in case you guys want to check it out tomorrow. She usually does live streams and premieres, and they're pretty good to break up the niggatry that we do every week. So if y'all need somewhere where there is not niggatry and you just need good vibes, I would go and check out Alicia because her content's pretty chill, pretty what do they call it? The opposite of that cookout plate, a high vibrational. It's pretty high vibrational. I sent a link down below. Now with that being said, let me put on, I guess, to give my final thoughts about the Darius Miles and everything regarding men who are rejecting people who, men who are insulting people who reject them. I hope that we can move to a future where some men don't feel that being told no by a woman is disrespectful. I hope that it doesn't make them ask questions like, how dare you reject me? Right. I hope it doesn't cause them to do this vitriolic thing. Oh, keep on rejecting us good guys, and you're gonna be in your parents' home, unmarried, ugly, and old. Right. I hope that people are able to I hope that men are able to divorce themselves from this type of cognitive dissonance and instead compliment someone genuinely because you want to compliment them. I don't think that's bad, by the way. I do think it's odd that it's only. So the man I talked to, I was like, do you walk up to random men and compliment them? Do you walk up to random men and say, wow, you look really nice today. How are you doing? He was like, yeah, I do that all the time. Okay.
Rip. Got you on that one, huh? You think he's gonna say yeah?
I don't believe him. I actually don't believe him. And when I compliment a man, he says, thank you, like he's supposed. No, I don't believe you. I actually believe he made that up, but
he can't walk and be like, nice fade, bro. Like them pants.
I just think it's interesting, these people who just genuinely want to give people compliments, but only if those people have vaginas, and present as people who have vaginas. So that's interesting. And it may sound stupid. The whole shebang may sound stupid, but this is how some guys think and react when their masculinity is compromised and put on the line. But it's childish. It's childish and petty to react like that when a girl rejects you, especially like, am I tripping? Or my friend rejected this man in like a really polite and respectful manner. Thank you, but I'm not thank you for the compliments. But I'm not interested, or I'm dating someone, or I'm married, or I'm sorry, so I just don't want to. Right. And then of course I do have a video about this coming out next week, hopefully, guys. And it's also going to talk about, so stuff like this can lead to the phenomenon that we all know as ghosting. When it comes to a woman choosing to ghost you because to confront you and reject you outright,
It's scary.
Yeah, it invites insulting and sometimes violence. So, and of course, this isn't exclusive to random encounters on the street. I learned as well. It can also be like have you ever had that guy friend who one day, oh, I've always had feelings for you. I was thinking maybe we could go out on a date. And of course, you probably say no because you're my friend. Why, what? Excuse me? And then he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he puts himself in this friend zone and he starts doing like being cold and vitriolic towards you in a petty way. It can happen in a relationship when you reject your partner. They can get violent or start insulting you to the point where weren't we watching? If you were at Themis yesterday, the dudes who were like, well, let me not say that explicitly, but the men who were like, you know, we have desires, and if you reject our desires, then we're going to
Have a conversation.
That's no, they didn't say we're gonna have a conversation. They said when you reject a man's desire,
Oh,
that causes him to get violent, and that causes him to get. This is why men start doing weird stuff. This is why I don't want
I
to
know
say
what you're saying.
explicitly, but like, okay, like yeah, this can happen in friendships. This can happen in a relationship. So
That man said some weird stuff on that one.
it was more than weird. It sounded like a confession to me, but I'm not.
Like FBI, yep, we got him. He right.
FBI opened up. Yep, they got him. They actually like, and why are people? I'm glad people are saying it explicitly online for everyone to see, where we can all download. Once something's on the internet, it's there forever,
Yep.
regardless
Hey,
of down.
I'm okay with the self snitching. I mean, look at Andrew.
Yeah, what is up?
He didn't do it. I did it. Like,
It's
like,
so brazen. It's so bold. It's so interesting. But I'm looking for my video to play so that we can get out of here on something positive. Oh, not a passport bro video then popped up in my
you see the dude get kicked out of Brazil? They ran his ass the fuck up out of there.
yeah, like don't remember Andrew Tate was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Romania. I can engage in debauchery here and I can just pay off the judge whenever I want to. If
Man, flat out said extortions.
the laws regarding sexual assault and the Me Too doesn't exist there, it's really hard for women to get justice there. So I'm gonna move there so I can get like I don't think the Romanian government appreciates someone like, I mean, the Romanian FBI, CIA, or whatever agency they have over there, I assume would have eyes on you if you are openly engaging in conversation like this online. I don't think that country wants that type of publicity, regardless of how corrupt they are or are
I
not.
was like, even if it was true, right?
So like, why are you over here? Literally, the way that they talk about, the way Passport Bro talk about, oh, we're going to Brazil, we're going to Thailand, we're going to the Philippines, we're going to, the women here are sweet and submissive. He showed the video where he was like on the beach with some girl and he was like, even though we just met today, would you sleep with me? And she was like, yeah. And then he like runs off and he's talking to the camera. See, fellas, come over here. You can find you some good women. There ain't no sexual frustration over here. These women put out when like, I don't think this is the type of publicity that these women from these countries want. And it don't seem like it was based on the way they put out that they put out a hit piece on that man. And
well, that's not a flex. I mean, if you're paying her, then she's probably going to do it if that's what y'all understanding is, because that's the whole point of going over there is that, well, my money extends longer because the U.S. dollar is worth more over there.
Yeah, like Thema said, why are they never going to Russia? Why are they never going to England?
Russia messed around and killed them or something, because Russia don't play that.
But why are you never going to developed nations, right? Why are you going to developing what we used to call third world countries, impoverished countries, war-torn countries where people can barely afford to live sometimes? Why are you going to these countries specific? Like, I don't know, it's a little weird. And I think I agree with Themis that it seems predatory, but
it is.
Let's see.
I remember I think that same dude was like just going around. It might have been somebody different. They were going around just filming people, and people were just kind of looking like, "Why are you just filming us and not saying nothing?" And they're just looking at people and filming them randomly. It was so creepy.
Yeah, that's weird too. Oh yeah, I think they filed those two. One of those two women filed a complaint specifically. Like, I didn't know he was about to put me on YouTube for everybody to see, make me look like a garden tool and all that. Like, no. Get some permission first. So I'm gonna play this last little thought piece. And from our favorite person, Oh, whoops, my bad. From our second favorite person, Ace Metaphor, I think is his name. But
Oh yeah, I rock with Ace.
yeah, Ace is cool. I didn't know his name was Ace Metaphor. I thought that was the name of like the card game. Before that, let's see, the friends always worst. Yeah, it really sucks when you think someone is around you because they respect you as a person and your ideas and your personhood, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm only interested in you as a extension of my sexuality or romance." So, yeah, that
It's
kind
Afro the champ.
of yes. It sucks that so many men are okay with being animalistic monsters without self-control. Yeah, openly. This is what they talk about publicly in front of everyone. Imagine what they do in private. But anyway, why do some men feel that they don't need to exercise self-control when it comes to regulating their sexuality? That is scary, especially in the context of what we've been talking about today about guys getting violent once you reject them. Hello, no.
Well, well, a lot of them dudes think they feel like men are still so like they feel like human beings are still so primal that we haven't evolved like our thought process, and they want to stay there. Like it's so easy a caveman can do it lifestyle.
And it's so unevolved. First of all, weren't they talking about this a hunter? The way they were talking about polygamy is like hunter gatherer days. Like this is primitive. Like before we even started farming and doing agriculture, primitive. But outside of that, something being biological inherently, I don't think is a good excuse to do anything. When it comes to something that is inherently biological, we can look in the animal kingdom and in humans to see consent. Consent is a social construct that humans made. Consent is not something that exists in the animal kingdom. You don't ever, if y'all have ever seen any videos of animals doing anything, consent don't always appear to be given. But thank goodness we as a society have decided that we don't have to act like animals and we don't have to reduce ourselves to the biological drive to have like thank goodness we can all agree on the social construct that is consent. So I have no idea the need to, oh, a man biologically wants to get with this many, like I have no clue. Why would, who cares? I actually don't care about the biology at all. A man biologically wants to kill another man who cuts him off in traffic. Maybe we shouldn't just go with our biology every single day. Maybe we should act like we have brains, or I don't know. Maybe that's just me being crazy. They got to stretch the little money they have somewhere. And this is my thing. Understand, I don't think passport and traveling to these, I don't think it's cheap. That's also where I have issue with it. Like, you're mad because you have to go to Applebee's and do a 2 for 20. Keep in mind, Applebee's 2 for 20, 2 meals for $20. That means your meal is $10, her meal is $10, and maybe a tip. You are upset about covering somebody's $10 in America. So let me spend hundreds of dollars to get my passport. Also, let me spend hundreds and thousands of dollars a year in traveling fees and hotels and flight costs. Especially, look, the last flight I saw to the UK, Japan, and like internationally, they're in the thousands right now. So you're comfortable spending thousands and thousands of dollars to go over to countries because $20 for a date was too much for you. These gold digging American women, I need to go somewhere where I'm appreciated. I can't afford these $20 dates, so let me just put in $1,000 round trip flight plus hotel plus food and courting if you're going out here for these women. Well, maybe you don't have to court over there because apparently the reason they're going to these countries is because the women are easy, even though it seems like if you're going to a country like this, generally these developing nations where things are much more traditional than they are in America and other developed nations, the woman's probably going to require more from you as a traditional male to provide and to protect and do all that stuff you don't have to do in America. So I don't understand the idea that they are cheaper unless.
Well, that's why they actually keep the American job but still go out there, or I guess do YouTube and make the YouTube money or whatever. Because if you still making American money, but you live in a country like the ones they go to, your money stretch longer. Even if you have $5, it might be like 100 there or something. That's not exact numbers, but so I think that's why the idea is let me go to a country where my money stretches longer, even if I have minimum amount of money. So like $50,000 a year consistently looks probably like 200,000 out there or something.
Yes. I think I agree. Well, yeah, I do agree. It's definitely a devolved way of thinking. You're a human with a devolved brain. Maybe a tip. No, definitely a tip. Excuse me. Y'all better not drag. Looks better for the gram and internets for the passport. Applebee's is not gram worthy. It is. I'm not too.
But they're not gonna take them out to no 5-star restaurant. They're not smashing on the first night.
Oh, have you remember what like the dating coach or whoever, and he was like, he blew the girl off 2 times, and then she was like, I'm not going to talk to you no more because you don't respect my time. And he was like, oh, well, meet me here real quick. And they met in the Popeyes parking lot and ended up getting married. Like, what? They're not even going to Applebee's. Y'all are going to the Popeyes parking lot. Y'all not even going to Popeyes. Y'all just having a date in
Not the 2 wings, a biscuit, and a fry.
the 2 wings, a biscuit, and a fry. Hello, Teed Up. I'm going to play this video, and then you can give your thoughts on anything, and then we'll be ending the stream. But
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna ask everybody to mute themselves while I play it, just so we can get out of here. It's a lot to talk about.
You introduce your ex as a friend to your future husband.
I see
You are
it.
motherfucking lying. He done seen you naked. He done had sex with you. He done known you inside and outside. And you gonna dismiss all that history by saying that's my friend. No, that's your motherfucking ex. So that's why I don't agree with calling exes friends. There's a term already for it. Ex person, ex man, ex blessing, ex dick, meaning it's no longer ex communication, ex access, exit out my life. Close the door on expired blessings because they will spoil your next batch. You bringing these exes into new relationships. That ain't fair for your future spouse to have to deal with. Talking about when he did being insecure. No, it's reasonable for me to expect when you came in my life, you let go of this baggage and you willingly being friends with baggage. If you introduce.
Okay,
He be going hard on his hot takes.
I just wanted thoughts.
I agree and disagree. Like, I do.
Wait. Before you continue, are you friends with any of your exes?
Yeah, like 1 or 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so like the reason that I agree is because I do feel like to a certain degree, like sometimes relationships just don't work out, and it's not like you have to completely mark that person out of your life just because, oh, we got into a relationship, it didn't work out, but I would still like to be friends with this person. Like, I feel like in that case, it's okay. But like, I feel like where it gets complicated is where it's like these couple of year-long relationships where it was like deep emotions, deep feelings, and it was hurt there or whatever the case may be. And you're choosing to keep this person in your life willingly, and they continue to cause you pain or things like that. I feel like that's when it becomes a problem. Or if your partner is insecure about that matter, and if they are, then that's kind of like on a conversation to conversation basis. Like
So
if your
would
ex isn't cool with that, then I feel like that's when you have that conversation.
so would you introduce your ex as a friend and not an ex? Then that's the question because that's what the premise of that
I
was.
wouldn't do that though. Like I feel like that's splitting hairs. I feel like if you were to introduce your ex as a friend, that's like basically almost like a white lie in a sense because it's like you have to tell your ex or like at least give them that knowing like, hey, I had these dealings with this person, but it isn't that anymore. I feel like once you take that away or take that conversation away, it breeds uncertainty for your partner, and that's where the problem comes in because it's like now they don't necessarily know how to feel about the situation because you weren't truthful all the way truthful in the first place.
Stars above the Emerald Forest says, why are you introducing your ex to your new partner? That's weird. If you see an ex, I will just pretend not to see them.
You can't always do that though. Some people will be they might see you and get in their feelings and then approach you, and then you're in an awkward situation.
Yeah.
Noble B says, I don't know about friends, but I'm cordial with my exes.
Yeah. I relate to that. Like it's not necessarily like I talk to them every day, all day, but like
I don't hate them or nothing.
yeah, like I wouldn't hate them. It's no bad blood there or nothing like that.
Afro Butterfly says, not if you know what someone tastes like, y'all ain't just friends. So if you have an ex and y'all haven't been intimate, does your answer I guess this is towards Afro Butterfly, but does your answer change if they haven't been sexually intimate with each other? But also, yeah, I think it does matter that they're introduced as your ex and not your friend, because I think that's something that people care about knowing generally. So,
I
yeah.
think I think for a guy, to answer her question, for a guy, sometimes that can get dangerous if a guy doesn't know it's your ex, because some of them dudes be bitter too, and they see you with her, and then you never know if they try to like come at you later on in life too. Like you might mess around seeing when he might see you when you're not with her, and then try to try something with you because he's still bitter or something. So that's kind of, to me, it can be kind of dangerous for guys, at least in my opinion. I've been in situations. Don't want to talk about it.
Um, wait, I feel like, I mean, I guess it depends on what would be the difference between being cordial with someone and being friends with someone. Um, but do y'all date like women with kids or men with kids? I don't know what y'all like. I feel like this is actually really common, at least if they have a good relationship with the child's father. I think generally it's
No,
what
I currently date somebody with a
That's a good
kid.
point.
you couldn't.
I said I currently do.
Oh, okay.
I've dated women with kids and things like that. And it's like in those cases you kind of have to understand that they're going to have to be to some degree cordial or friendly with their ex because of the child. And so it's like
Right.
I don't know. I in that stance is like it's acceptable, but then when it's like when you remove the child, if it's just like you and your ex, then it's like nah, I can't understand it, and that's kind of a problem for me because it's like you kind of splitting hairs. Like you're okay with it in certain aspects, but then not in others. But I feel like the baby mama, baby daddy thing is kind of more problematic in a sense.
Not really. It depends on where she stands at. Like you got to know just where she stands. If she's like is only about the kid, then you're fine. Now, if she displays behavior that shows that she still kind of got feelings for the guy, you might be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
That
but
it
then
really depends. That can be a case by case basis.
yeah,
Okay. So I think we can all agree when it comes to someone toxic presently, especially if they are a detriment to your current relationship, that's inappropriate. If it's someone who you ended on cordial terms with, or maybe you ended up on nasty terms with, but y'all were able to sort things out afterward and maintain a cordial relationship, friendship, whatever y'all would like to call it, that is appropriate as long as your partner is aware that this person is your ex. And possibly, I don't remember y'all answers if y'all answered, but does it matter if they've been sexually intimate?
for me no, because you can have sex with a friend and nobody would know unless you tell them, and so I feel like it's the same. It's the same basis. Like an ex that you had sex with, and then you're trying to be friends with them. I feel like that's the same thing as having a friend that you've never had relationships with, but you had sex with them. It's the same thing. You can't say like, "Hey, you can't be friends with that person." Like I don't know.
We're adults. People have sex. It is what it is.
Yeah, like sex is sex. It depends on the person. I feel like.
She just can't be drinking mango juice off people. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Not mango juice. With that being said, I think that's where I'm going to end today's stream. Thank you both for coming up. I do have plans to release a video this week, which was actually the topic of this discussion, rejection in the male ego. So be looking out for that. And then my next video is going to be on Oreos and what it means, I guess, to talk or act white as a Black person. And if
Any of those on a Saturday?
Huh?
Any of those on next Saturday?
Who?
I said any of the videos on the next weekend, like Saturday or Sunday.
I'm probably going to release those sometime during the week. I just don't know what day, a weekday. And then I'm just going to do streaming on Saturday.
Okay, that works. Because I at least be off to come on sometimes.
They said, does that video feature Truth Teller? No, y'all stop.
What?
Yeah, no, I don't think it features Truth Teller. Maybe I'll reach out and see if she would like to speak and tell me what is Black and what is white, because I must have misunderstood that conversation.
Y'all funny for that. I just realized what she said. Y'all funny.
If you approach me, I'll make it really awkward. I would never approach an ex if I seen them. There's no need to say hello to the past. That feels like a roast. Oh, hello, past. Well, I'm Future. Nice to meet you.
No.
I'm
But
not
I don't
from.
think I think that's like in a public setting too though. Like if I was to just see my ex out and I was with my present, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, hey, this is my ex." But, like in a more comfortable setting, like if we were at my house or something, we were having like a party or something and my ex just so happened to be there and my girlfriend was there, then of course I'd be like, "Hey, this is my girlfriend."
But
So I feel like it depends on the place.
how would your ex accidentally be at a party with your girlfriend?
That's happened, bro. Like Memphis is
What?
really small. I don't y'all not from Memphis, but Memphis is really small. You can go
Oh
to a
yeah, I
party
heard
or
that. I
something
got a
and
couple
like
people in this.
everybody's there.
Mm.
Well, where I live at is pretty small too. Actually, we got like what they say 6 degrees of separation. Ours is like 3, even though it's a bigger city.
And it's like 2 in Memphis. We one less. I promise you. Everybody know everybody.
Yeah.
With that being said, thank you everyone for coming. My name is Prince Petty, and this has been Man with a Mic.